It's the Champions League final coming up in less than 2 days, and we've already seen the Europa League final done and dusted. Tottenham won. We saw the Conference League final done and dusted. Chelsea won, and this is the final that would be without an English side. I mean, if Arsenal had been more serious, maybe they would have been here. But this final is without a Premier League side. But regardless, it's very exciting to still talk about. And we have PSG looking to win it for the first time, and we've got Inter Milan, who, they are not newcomers to the Champions League final anyways. But Victor, without wasting much time, PSG versus Inter Milan, in your opinion, who is the favorite and who is more deserving to win?
I would say based on European experience and pedigree, I would think Inter are favorites. In terms of deserving to win, it's very tricky. If you look at the knockout rounds for both sides, they have had to overcome some huge obstacles. Okay, you look at PSG, they had to make it past Liverpool, they had to make it past Arsenal. Inter had to contend with Bayern and Barcelona. It doesn't get too much tougher than that.
Yeah.
I think Inter are favorites, and personally, even though out of the big Italian teams, Inter are the ones I care about least, I will be rooting for them because I would rather not see the Champions League won by a country.
Okay, so over to you, Max. This Champions League was particularly interesting because of the new format. And in fact, if it was to be the old format, PSG would not be anywhere near the final after, their opening 6 games. So do you think the new format helped in making things more interesting, for both sides and routes to the final?
Yeah, I feel like it's making a better team more chance to go through, as we saw for PSG, for example. So they were not this good in first games, but after that they recovered and now they're in finals. I feel like for bigger sides, it's the better format, but for teams like Brest or something like that, it's not really helps. Maybe only in terms of money, but not for the results. Because sometimes you have like 2 or 3 good games in group stage and you can go through. But now you have to do it throughout whole group stage, so probably this is worth for smaller teams.
A very disillusioned Liverpool fan says hi, by the way. Topping the league phase and then having to play PSG. That was, I don't want to sound bitter, but that was bullshit.
Well, that there will always be an opinion to that. Many people seem to love the new format, and many people do not agree with it. But of course, there would always be different, sides to interpret it from. And but moving on, Victor, I know most of us on this call, or even most football fans, see Inter Milan as the more traditional side and would rather Inter Milan win. But what would this mean for PSG and for football if they actually win the Champions League?
It would be huge for PSG. This is something they've been gunning for ever since the takeover. It was always the Champions League. Let's face it, it's not much of a title race ever in France. The cup is also a pre-decided affair. A lot of football in France feels like pro wrestling. Everything's predetermined. But with the Champions League, that's always been like their holy grail. I don't know if they will ever manage it. They had a very good chance a couple of years ago. Now it's their second final in only a few years, and it feels a little bit like a now or never because they have been performing well for, like, okay, if you ignore the first part of the league phase at least. But yeah, I think it would be huge for them. But I think us as football fans will not hear the goddamn end of it.
Yeah, fair enough. And over to you, Mark. So, what key battles or who are the key players to watch out for in this final?
I'd say midfield is always an important place, right? And especially in these teams. Well, you have on PSG like Coutinho, Ruiz and Neves in midfield. They're doing pretty good this season. And also for Inter, Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu and Barella, also so important for the team. So probably it would be the biggest fight in this game, and probably the strikers, but not this much. I mean, I'm not sure Martinez is playing. He had an injury against Barcelona, so he could probably miss the game, but probably he's going. And also Dembele is not really so important in big games. At least I feel like that, especially previous seasons. So probably Martinez is going to do much better, and probably the wingers will be the more important for PSG, not the real striker.
Victor, your opinion on that?
It's an interesting clash because of the systems that they're playing. Inter play with these advanced wing backs who absolutely love bombing forward, especially Dumfries. I think wingers will be actually big. Dembele against Di Marco and Bastoni. That's a key battle there. Di Marco also goes forward quite a bit. He is a little bit more conservative than Dumfries on the other side, but I think even if Dembele starts through the middle, like he has in recent times, a couple of games, I think his natural tendency is to drop to the right wing a bit, and that might even drag Acerbi out of position. That would create space for someone like Fabian Ruiz to come in from the second line, from the midfield, have a run at the box. On the other flank, Dumfries, he likes, as I said, to bomb forward. I feel like Bisek will need to be on his toes from the moment he gets off the bus until he's done showering after the game, because he'll also have Kvaratskhelia to deal with. And yeah, midfield, as you mentioned. But Max, personally, I don't know if you agree or not. I don't see Vitinha coping with Barella for the full 90 minutes. He's not good enough. Barella is just absolutely outstanding to me personally. And Vitinha, he's good, but he's not that.
Well, there we'll just have to wait and see about that one. And just on the final note, starting with you, Max, your prediction for this final.
Actually, I disagree with Victor about Inter being favorites in this game. I feel like PSG are the better team overall, at least for the players and their style of play. And also, they're not this team like they had with Neymar, Messi, Mbappe. They're not playing only for strikers. They're much more structured team. So I feel like they're the favorites, but I'll go probably with a draw in regular time, like 1-1, and probably PSG winning in extra time.
Yeah, so Victor, your score predictions for this game.
Um, I'm I don't want to go overboard. I mentioned Inter as favorites, but I don't want to go overboard. However, something, a little birdie is telling me 3-1 to Inter. I don't think
Fair
we're
enough.
seeing extra time.
Yeah, I think PSG for me, I think PSG will put up a good fight, but I think Inter winning 2-1. 2-1 to Inter. Yeah, Inter win 2-1. So that's my take. And maybe it's not because I'm biased because I want Inter to win, but I feel their system is more suited to win. That's what I think. I mean, as long as it's not United playing, I have no reason to be biased or anything. So yeah. Anyways, that's all we have for the Champions League final. There will be no Premier League side there, but there will still be lots of action, and it's going to be interesting to watch from a neutral perspective to see who comes out on top. Myself and Victor are tipping Inter to go all the way, while Max is rooting for PSG and thinks they are more of the favourites. So we're calling our viewers to tell us what you think about the Champions League final. Who is the favourite? Who is more deserving to win? And what are your score predictions for that game?